What's up, world? It's your boss, International Zoe. I know it's been a while for Sunday sermon, but I'm back. And the reason why you're not getting the Sunday sermon every Sunday, because I want to be inspired by what I bring to you. And if I don't feel like I have something relevant to share, I'd rather skip it. So, the title of this week's Sunday sermon is Mutiny of the Mothership. Now, I looked online to look up the definition of mutiny. So let me just share it for you really quickly. Forcible or passive resistance to law, authority. Also, it says to rise against or refuse to obey or observe authority. Now, it also has to do to rebel against military authority, to stage a mutiny, usually within the military or on a ship. So that's why I said mutiny of the mothership. Now, mutinies happen in war, in families, and especially in business. And I want to give you some examples of what I've experienced and what I've learned. And this is part of the reason why companies don't usually hire family relatives, friends, and things of that nature. And you notice that certain people say, don't tell them that you're my family. And they do this because they know in order to have a mutiny, you need a leader and a follower. You need at least two. Usually, the leader is someone who is somewhat intelligent, somewhat cocky or confident, and subliminal. They usually do things early on, and if you pay attention, you understand their potential. Me, I notice who's who in my shops. I notice their strengths and weaknesses. I know those who have potential to be leaders, good leaders, or bad leaders. So I watch them, and I take a mental note of the things they do. Those bad leaders or potential mutinists, if that's a word, they usually do things early on that may be subtle. If you pay attention, there's times when you want something done as a group and you feel it's for the betterment of the business or the entire group. They're usually the ones that don't want to do it for no really strong reason, or for not a reasonable, they don't stand against it reasonably or with an explanation usually. And maybe in the beginning, they still go along with it because they don't have followers yet or following yet. But you watch them and you take mental notes. I've seen this a year out, 2-3 years out. So I keep my eye on these potential people because I've learned from the experiences in the past. And then they gain some ground when they get their follower. And it only takes one. And usually that follower is going to be someone that they befriend or befriend each other. So maybe it could be a family member. It could be someone they met at the shop and became real close with. Maybe they move in together. Maybe they go on breaks together. Maybe they hang out after work. This forms a relationship, and usually someone is a leader in the relationship. Now, this person, this character, they're slick, they're wise. You got to pay attention, because they're usually going to be a bit wiser than their first follower or friend or whatever you want to call them. And they start sending their messages out through that person that is following them, that they're a little more sharper than, that they're a little one step ahead of. And they get them to voice their ideas, and they stay in the shadow. And I'll watch it, and I see the potential. And it's usually someone who is younger or less intelligent, and they stand out and they voice the opinion of the real mutinous. And then the mutinous just easily agrees at that point. Or they're listening in the background, or they're telling them to report back to them. Tell them this and see what they say. So there's a ways you can deal with them, as long as you can stay ahead of them. Play chess, not checkers. Or you can choose to play checkers instead of chess. Chess is the long game. Checkers is the quick game. So if you want to get rid of them, you can just get rid of them, or you can sacrifice one of them. But usually when it gets to a point where it's kind of obvious to others, they're on their way out anyway. They just want to sabotage the ship before they go. They want to sink the ship before they go. So you could play the long game and stay two steps, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of them and see it coming. As long as you're still benefiting, you can play the long game. Or you can be less strategic and play checkers and just get rid of them. But the seed is planted. And once they got one follower, then they start manipulating the group. Because 2 or more, 2 or more, that's all you need. Once you got 2, you could get 3, you could get 4. It's like a snowball. So you could cut it all short, or you could stay 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of them. But understand, eventually, they're going to get rid of themselves, or you have to get rid of them. Now, I gave you some keys to see it. Some of you have maybe already experienced it. This could happen in a family unit where one family member kind of doesn't ever want to agree with it. It could happen in a group, a musical group, or a basketball team. Just understand what's going on. Try to stay 2 or 3 steps ahead of it. And understand, either they will eliminate themselves, or you have to eventually eliminate them. Because they won't stop trying to turn the tides in their favor. Hope this was helpful. International Zoe, Sunday sermon, and closing. Love is love, life is life, and loyalty is priceless. Peace.